I want you to think about something you are currently working toward. A goal, an acquisition, an arrival point, something you are spending time on, spending energy on, spending parts of your life on, in the belief that when you reach it, something will be better. You will feel more settled, more complete, more like the version of yourself you are supposed to be. Hold that thing in your mind. Now I want to ask you a question that most people never ask, and that changes everything when they do. Did you choose that, or were you chosen for it? There is a version of desire that originates inside you. It is quiet. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not compare itself to anyone else's desire. It does not require an audience to feel real. It is the thing you would want if no one was watching, if no one was measuring, if there were no external scale against which your wanting could be evaluated and found sufficient. Most people have not felt that desire in a very long time, because it has been crowded out. From the moment you were old enough to understand the world around you, the world began teaching you what to want. Not maliciously, not as a conspiracy, as a system. A vast, efficient, extraordinarily well-funded system whose entire purpose is to create in you a felt sense of lack, and then offer you a product that will temporarily address it. The system works by showing you what other people have, what other people look like, what other people's lives contain, and generating, in the space between what you see in them and what you see in yourself, a feeling. The feeling that something is missing, that you are not yet enough, that with this thing, this achievement, this body, this status, you would be. You did not invent that feeling. It was installed over years, through screens and billboards and conversations and the quiet comparisons you made as a child, watching the other children and trying to understand what it took to belong. By the time you were an adult, the installation was complete. So complete that you cannot see it as installation. You experience it as preference, as ambition, as simply knowing what you want. I want to offer you a way to tell the difference between the desire that is yours and the desire that was given to you. Ask yourself this: when you imagine achieving the thing, getting the job, the body, the relationship, the number, the version of the life you are working toward, who is watching? In your imagination, who sees it? Who knows? Who registers the arrival? Whose face do you see when you picture the moment it is finally done? If the answer is someone else, a parent, a peer, a person from your past who doubted you, an audience of people whose opinion you have carried for longer than you have carried anything else, then the desire may not be yours. It may be a response, a proof, a rebuttal to something someone said about you, or implied about you, or made you feel about yourself long before you had the language to push back. And you have been spending your life constructing an argument against a court that disbanded years ago. This is not a small thing, because the cost of spending your life pursuing what you were taught to want, rather than what you actually want, is not just dissatisfaction. It is the particular grief of arriving, of getting the thing, of standing in the life you worked so hard to build, the life that looks from the outside exactly like success, and feeling, in the quiet, a kind of emptiness that you cannot explain to anyone because you have everything you were supposed to want. And the emptiness is not ingratitude. It is not weakness. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is the accurate response of a person who spent decades filling a shape that was never theirs. Let me tell you what actually fills a person. Not what the system told you, not what the culture rewarded, not what made sense on paper or looked right on a screen. What actually fills a person, what produces the feeling of a life that is genuinely, sustainably yours, is almost always quieter than what you were taught to chase. It is work that uses something real in you, not work that proves something, not work that wins something. Work that requires the actual you, your actual way of thinking, your actual way of seeing, the specific thing that you do that no one else does in quite the same way, and asks it to show up. It is relationships where you are known, not admired, not envied, known. Where what you bring to the room is not the performance, but the person behind it. And that person is what is wanted. It is the experience, rare, irreplaceable, of doing something that nobody asked you to do, that nobody rewarded you for doing, that served no strategic purpose in the construction of an image, and feeling, in the doing of it, completely and entirely like yourself. That feeling, that particular feeling, is what you have been looking for in every achievement the system taught you to pursue. It was never in those achievements. Not because achievement is empty, but because achievement that belongs to someone else's definition of success can only produce someone else's feeling of success, which is, to the actual you, worth nothing. I want to ask you something that I want you to sit with rather than answer quickly. If you removed every desire that was generated by comparison, every wanting that arose not from inside you, but from seeing what someone else had, what would be left? If you removed every goal that was built to prove something to someone who may not even be watching anymore, what would remain? If you stripped away everything the culture told you was worth wanting, the metrics, the markers, the milestones, what is underneath? For most people, that question produces not an answer, but a silence. A slightly uncomfortable, slightly unfamiliar, slightly terrifying silence. Because the answer, the actual answer, has been buried under so many layers of what you were supposed to want that it is almost forgotten how to make itself heard. But it is there. It has always been there, waiting with a patience that should embarrass the noise above it. The process of returning to it, of excavating down through the layers of installed desire to find what was there before the installation, is not fast. It is not a weekend workshop. It is not a list of journal prompts. It is a practice of sustained, honest attention, turned not outward, not toward the next goal or the next acquisition, but inward, toward the question, what do I actually want? Not what makes sense, not what is achievable, not what will impress anyone. What do I, this specific, irreplaceable, never-before-existing person, actually want? And then, more difficult, the willingness to want it even if no one understands, even if it does not fit the template, even if the people around you cannot map it onto their definition of success and come up empty. You were taught to want many things. Some of them are genuinely yours. Some of them were borrowed without your knowledge from people who also had theirs borrowed from people before them. The work, the real work, is learning to tell the difference. Not once, not in a single revelation, but slowly, over time. In the quiet moments when you catch yourself wanting something and you have the presence of mind to pause and ask, is this mine? Because the life built on what is actually yours, however modest it looks from the outside, however quietly it proceeds, is the only life that does not leave you empty at its center. Everything else, however impressive, however applauded, however perfectly constructed for the eyes of the people whose opinion you have carried all this time, is someone else's life, lived very convincingly by you.